The silent battlefield smoke filled the sky. The ground was black with ash and blood. The battle was over. Guns were quiet now. The warships had left. Silence covered the land like a blanket. Kale, a tall alien warrior, lay on the cold ground. His armor was broken. His body was still. His eyes were open, but he could not move. His legs didn't work. His arms didn't listen to him. He was paralyzed. He was once a great soldier, a leader of his kind. He had won many battles, but today something went wrong. A human weapon hit him. It was not a normal weapon. It was strange, silent, and bright. It hit his back and everything stopped. He fell. He never got up again. Kale could still think. He could see, he could feel the pain, but he could not speak. He could not even lift a finger. Around him, his people were leaving. Alien ships flew above. Soldiers walked past him. They looked at him, but their faces were cold. No one stopped. No one helped. He is broken, one alien whispered. We can't carry him, another said. He will slow us down. They left him there like garbage. Like he was already dead. Hours passed, maybe more. Kale watched the sky turn dark. His heart beat slow and heavy. He didn't want to die, but he didn't want to be alone either. Then, footsteps, they were soft, careful. Not like the alien boots. These were different. Kale's eyes moved slowly. A figure appeared through the smoke. It was tall, wearing human armor. A helmet covered the face. A gun was in his hand. Kale felt fear. Was this human here to finish the job? Was this his end? The human walked closer. He saw Kale on the ground. He raised the gun. A long silence followed. Then the gun lowered. The human pulled off his helmet. He had short brown hair and tired eyes. His face was dirty, and there was a small cut on his cheek. He looked around the battlefield. He saw the dead. He saw the pain. Then he looked back at Kale. You're still alive? He said, surprised. Can you move? Kale blinked once. It was all he could do. The human stared for a moment. Then he sat beside Kale and sighed. You're one of them. But you're hurt. Can't move, huh? Kale blinked again. I'm not gonna shoot you, the human said. War's over, or maybe we both lost. I don't even know. The man looked at the sky. Then at the broken machine near Kale. You got any working tech in that armor of yours? He asked. Any signal? Anything? Kale blinked slowly. The answer was no. Nothing worked. The human stood up and kicked a small rock. Great, I'm stuck here too. Kale looked at him. The man was thin but strong. His armor had cuts and burns. He was not from the winning side either. The human looked back at Kale. I'm Mason, he said. Sergeant, Earth Forces. Oh, what's left of it? Kale wanted to say his name, but he couldn't. He blinked again. Mason sighed. Okay, blink once for yes, twice for no. Got it? Kale blinked once. Good, Mason nodded. At least we can talk, sort of. Mason looked around. You're lucky I found you. Or maybe I'm the unlucky one, helping an alien. This is crazy. Kale blinked slowly. He wanted to say thank you. But all he had were his eyes. Mason sat down again. You're paralyzed, your people left you, and now you've got me. He laughed, but there was no joy in it. Don't get too happy. I'm not your nurse. I don't leave people behind. Even aliens. Kale blinked once. A soft wind moved the smoke. For a second, the battlefield looked calm. Mason stood again. I'll check the area. Maybe I can find some tools. Maybe something to help you. He turned away, took a few steps, then stopped. He looked back. But if you try anything, even blink wrong, I'll end you. Got it? Kale blinked once. A promise. A warning. A strange start to something neither of them expected. In the middle of death and dust, two enemies were left behind. One couldn't move, the other couldn't leave. And somewhere above, danger was still watching. This was not the end of the war. It was the beginning of something else. The human decision. The night was cold. The stars above watched in silence. Sergeant Mason sat near a small fire made from broken metal and wires. He didn't trust real fire. Too bright, too loud. He used heat from a damaged alien battery. Just enough to warm his hands. Behind him, The paralyzed alien lay still, eyes open, watching. Mason didn't speak for a long time. He finally looked over his shoulder. "You're not blinking," he said. "You asleep?" No answer. He picked up a small piece of bread from his ration pack. Old, dried, but still food. He chewed slowly. His eyes never left the silent alien. "I should have left you," Mason whispered. "Like your people did." He looked at the deep wound on his arm, a cut from earlier when he carried Kale's body away from open ground. He had dragged him behind a pile of scrap and stone out of sight. "That cost me blood," Mason said. "For someone who's not even human." The alien blinked once. Mason narrowed his eyes. "You agree?" Another slow blink. Mason tossed the rest of the bread aside. "This is insane." "I was trained to shoot your kind, not save them." He stood up, walked a few steps, looked at the stars again. "But I saw something," he said. "When I looked into your eyes back there, you weren't afraid. You were waiting." He walked back toward Kale, sat down. "I've seen cowards, I've seen liars, I've seen murderers, but you? You looked ready to die, like a soldier." Kale blinked once. "Still don't trust you," Mason muttered. "But maybe we're both broken now. That makes us even." He opened a small bag and pulled out tools, wires, metal pieces. "Alien tech scraps. I'm going to try to fix the old unit," he said. "You and we need a ride." He showed Kale the broken communicator. "If I get this working, maybe we can send a signal." Kale blinked twice. "No?" Mason frowned. "Too risky?" Kale blinked once. "Yeah," Mason said. "But no choice." He began working, hands shaking. The tools weren't made for this. Sparks flew. The made a small sound, then went dead again. "Damn it." Mason threw it down. He looked at Kale. "Your people built this, right? If you can blink once for yes, maybe you can guide me." Kale blinked once. "Okay." Mason took a deep breath. "I'll point to each part. You blink when I find the right one." And so they worked. Mason pointed. Kale blinked. They rewired. The machine with only eyes and hands, one man, one alien. No words. The blinked red. "It's starting up," Mason whispered. "Keep going." More sparks, more guesses. More blinks. Finally, the red light turned green. Mason froze. "We did it," he said. "I think it's sending a signal now." He smiled for the first time in days. Kale blinked once, slow and tired. Mason looked at him. "Still with me?" Another blink. "Good," Mason said. "I guess you're not just dead weight." But suddenly, the made a strange noise. A warning beep. Mason's face turned serious. He checked the signal. Oh, no. The signal had been picked up, but not by his people. Not by the aliens either. It was someone else. Pirates. Hunters. Mercenaries. Someone bad. He looked at Kale. "We're not safe. Someone's coming, and they're not here to help." Kale blinked once. A slow, heavy blink. Mason grabbed his gun. "Get ready, partner," he whispered. He paused. "Yeah, I said it." Partner. Behind them, the wind picked up. The smoke from the fire twisted into the dark sky. A shadow passed over the stars. Something was coming, but this time, Mason wasn't alone. And neither was Kale. The signal. A cold wind blew across the ruined battlefield. The stars above blinked quietly, like silent eyes watching the ground below. In a dark corner of the broken land, something blinked too, but it wasn't the stars. It was a small green light on a half-dead communicator. The signal was live. Mason stared at it. His hands were shaking, not from fear, but from hope. "It's working," he whispered. "It's really working." Beside him, Kale lay still. His breathing was slow, weak. But his eyes, they were awake, sharp, focused. Together they had made the impossible happen. Human hands, alien eyes. No voice, no trust. Just survival. Mason looked at Kale. "I don't know who's gonna hear this, but if someone's out there, maybe we've got a chance." Kale blinked once. Mason gave a small nod. "Yeah, one chance." He pressed the signal button again. "This is Sergeant Mason of Earth Forces," he said, speaking slowly and clearly. "I have a wounded alien warrior with me. We're both stranded. Repeat, we need evac. Coordinates attached. Please respond." He waited. Static. No voice came back, then a strange sound. Not static. Not silence, a reply, but not in human language. A deep, low growl echoed through the device. Then laughter, cold, cruel, not friendly. Mason's face darkened. He knew that sound, not soldiers, not rescue, hunters. Damn it, he said. We just rang the dinner bell. Cale blinked twice. I know, Mason replied. I made it worse. The communicator clicked again. A voice came through, broken, with static, but still clear enough to chill the blood. Asterisk, stay where you are. We're coming. Try to run, and we'll skin you both. Mason turned off the device. He looked at Cale. Okay, new plan. Cale blinked once. Fast. Mason grabbed his bag and stood. They're coming to kill us both. Probably for fun. But they don't know we're not dead yet. He looked around the rubble. His eyes scanned broken ships, scorched earth, old tech, and pieces of weapons from both armies. You said your people used energy traps, Mason said, thinking out loud. Do any of those pieces still have power? Cale blinked once. Mason crouched near Cale's armor. Show me. Cale's eyes moved, slow and steady, toward a broken power pack lying in the dirt nearby. Mason ran and picked it up. It's cracked, but still humming. He smiled. Let's build a surprise. The next hour passed in silence. Mason worked fast. His fingers moved like he was defusing a bomb, because in truth he was making one. Cale helped in his own way. He blinked to guide Mason. 1 blink for yes, 2 for no. It was slow. It was hard, but it worked. As the final wire clicked into place, Mason sat back and wiped his face. Done, he said. Trip line set, pressure charge buried, and your power cell makes it sing. He looked up at the sky. They'll come from the ridge, he said. Good view. Bad idea. Cale blinked once. Mason looked down at him. You still think we can win? Cale's eyes were clear, focused. He didn't blink, but he didn't need to. Mason gave a small smile. Guess I'll take that as a yes. Far in the distance, the sound of engines echoed through the night. The hunters were coming. 3 ships, no lights. Silent killers in the dark. Mason checked his rifle. Only a few shots left. He leaned down next to Cale. If I die, make sure you tell your people I wasn't always an idiot. Cale blinked once, then once more. Was that a laugh? Mason smirked. You got jokes now, huh? Then a shadow passed over them. A ship landed on the ridge. Figures stepped out, tall, armored, weapons in hand. Faces hidden behind metal masks. One pointed forward. There they are, Mason whispered. Wait for it. The lead hunter walked forward. Then, boom, fire lit. The night sky. Screams. Smoke. The trap worked. Mason stood and fired. 1 shot, 2, he moved like lightning. Fast, smart. Cale watched, eyes wide. The human fought like a warrior, not for war. Not for pride, for survival, for both of them. But the hunters weren't done yet. The leader rose from the fire, armor smoking. He smiled beneath his mask. You should have stayed dead. Mason raised his rifle, empty. He reached for his knife, but stopped because behind him, something moved. Cale's finger, just one, twitching. Alive. Asterisk, the enemy returns. The fire still burned. Ash floated through the air like snow, a twisted metal helmet rolled across the ground, smoking and black. But the man wearing it was not dead. He stood again, the leader of the hunters. His armor was cracked, his shoulder bleeding, but his smile was wide. You two are full of tricks, he growled. I like that. Mason stood in front of Cale, body tense, hands empty. His gun was finished. His knife was lost in the dirt. His breath came fast and hard. Cale lay behind him, eyes watching everything, still frozen. Still helpless, but something had changed. One of Cale's fingers had moved, just once, before the fire hit. Mason had seen it. It gave him hope. Now, they needed more than hope. They needed a miracle. You got 5 seconds to run, the hunter said, stepping forward. Make it fun. Mason didn't move. Instead, he looked up at the hunter and said, You first? Then he threw something small, a metal spike. It exploded in smoke, bright, thick, and white. The hunter shouted, coughing. Coward! But Mason was already moving. He ran left, grabbed a fallen blaster from the dirt, rolled behind a broken pod and fired, though the blaster sparked, weak battery. One shot, but it hit. The second hunter went down. Mason ducked again. Two more left. Then he heard the voice again, deep, closer. "You fight well, human," the leader said, "but you protect a broken thing. That alien is no use to anyone. Just wait." Behind the smoke, Cale heard it all. His jaw tightened. He remembered those same words spoken by his own people before they left him behind. Just wait. His body didn't move yet, but his heart was burning. Mason called out, "He's worth more than you'll ever be." Another blast. Mason fired again, missed. The last hunter charged. Mason ducked, but the enemy slammed into him, knocking him down. A knife flashed. It cut across Mason's side. Blood sprayed. Mason groaned, grabbing the enemy's arm. Wrestling, but he was tired. Wounded. And the hunter was too strong. Cale saw it all. He couldn't blink. He couldn't shout, but inside, something snapped. His fingers twitched again. This time, both hands. He focused harder. Pushed his brain. Pushed his body. One hand lifted. Just an inch, but it was enough. His arm dropped and hit a button on the broken alien pod beside him. The pod beeped. A hidden panel opened. Inside, a weapon. Old alien, but deadly. Mason saw the light from the pod. His eyes widened. Cale moved again, barely, and pushed the weapon toward Mason with his weak, shaking hand. Mason grabbed it. A surge of blue light powered up in the barrel. The hunter looked back. Too slow. Boom. The blast hit him in the chest. His armor exploded in pieces. Silence. The last hunter fell. Mason dropped the weapon and collapsed beside Cale, breathing hard, blood on his side, sweat on his face. He turned and looked at Cale. "You moved," he said, smiling through pain. "You actually moved." Cale blinked, once, then again. His lips twitched slightly. Mason laughed. "You're waking up, aren't you?" He nodded slowly. "Just in time." Cale looked at him. His eyes were full of something new. Not fear, not pain. Strength. Mason leaned against the wreckage and looked at the stars. "We've got to get out of here, partner." Someone else heard that signal. Someone worse might be coming. Cale blinked once. Mason chuckled. "Yeah, I was afraid you'd say that." In the distance, thunder rumbled, but the sky was clear. That wasn't weather. It was engines. Another ship. Bigger. Faster. Coming straight for them. But this time, they were ready. The trap, a loud roar, shook the sky. Dust blew across the dead land as another ship landed, bigger than the last. Darker, heavier. This was no rescue. This was a hunter mothership. Mason pressed his back against the burnt metal wall. His arm was wrapped in cloth, blood still leaking through. His face was tired, but his eyes stayed sharp. Cale sat beside him now. No longer lying flat. He still couldn't stand, but his arms worked, his hands worked. His strength was coming back, slow, but real. "We don't have long," Mason whispered. Cale blinked once, then used his fingers to trace a small symbol. On the ground, a war sign, ancient, alien. It meant fight together. Mason smiled. "Yeah, we fight together." Above them, the ship doors opened. Heavy boots stepped out. Not just 3 this time, at least 8 hunters, full gear, full weapons. No masks this time. Their faces showed sharp teeth and colder eyes. They were here to finish the job and maybe take trophies. Life signs below, one of them growled. 2 moving. One is the alien, the other, human soldier. Another sniffed the air. "I want the human skull." "We take both," the leader said, "alive." But Mason and Cale had a plan. The trap was ready. While the enemy searched, Mason triggered the first move. A piece of broken armor slid down a hill and made a loud noise, metal against metal. The hunters turned fast. "Guns up! Over there!" One shouted. They moved as a group straight into the wrong spot. Cale, now half-sitting, used one working arm to press a small switch hidden under a body beside him. The old alien tech buzzed. Suddenly, the ground lit up. Blue light. Magnetic surge, a gravity pulse exploded from the earth, slamming the hunters into each other. Guns flew from their hands. Their boots stuck to the ground like glue. One of them screamed, "What is this?" "Stasis net," the leader spat. Old alien tech. Mason stepped out from behind cover, holding the alien pulse cannon Kale had given him in the last fight. You don't belong here, he said, calm. The leader roared. You're just a man. Mason pulled the trigger. Boom. The cannon fired. A wave of blue light. 2 hunters were thrown backward, armor cracking, bones snapping. The others struggled to move. Trapped in the field, Kale, still weak, activated a second trap, a shock mine made from scrap parts and an old energy core. Crack, lightning burst out. The scream of a hunter echoed through the valley. Mason moved quickly, like a ghost between fire and dust. Every step counted. Every second mattered. Kale watched with pride. He had fought beside many in his life, but never like this. Never with a human. The leader broke free. He tore off his boots to escape the gravity trap and charged straight at Mason, weapon raised, teeth bared. Die, Earth Rat. Mason turned too late. The hunter slammed into him. Both crashed to the ground. Kale's heart pounded. He reached out, fingers trembling, and grabbed the shock mine again. No time to aim. No time to think. He threw it. It landed near them. Flash. Electric shock. Both bodies jolted. Smoke. Silence. Then movement. Mason rolled over. Coughing. The hunter did not move. Kale closed his eyes, chest rising and falling fast. Mason crawled to him. You crazy alien, he whispered. You saved me again. Kale blinked. Once. Mason looked up at the sky. The ship was still there. Lights on. Engines humming. Then a new sound. Another ship, but this one. Different, smoother, brighter. Not a hunter, not a killer. Kale blinked. Fast. He recognized the sound. It was his people. But would they help him? Would they help a human? Mason stood tall, even with blood on his shirt and smoke in his lungs. He looked at Kale. They're here for you. Kale blinked slowly. They might shoot me, Mason said. Kale blinked once. Firm. Sure. Yeah, Mason said, gripping his weapon. Let them try. Above, the sky was no longer quiet. The real battle hadn't even begun. The rescue. The sky was no longer silent. 2 ships hovered above the broken battlefield. One was black and sharp, the hunter ship, quiet now, its crew defeated. The other, smooth, silver, shining with blue light, belonged to Kale's people. Finally, rescue had come, but Mason didn't lower his weapon, and Kale didn't blink with relief. Not yet. The silver ship landed. Its engines blew dust across the wounded ground. The ramp opened slowly. 3 tall alien soldiers stepped out. Their armor was perfect. Their faces were hidden behind sleek helmets. One of them scanned the area. Life signs confirmed, a cold voice said. 1 alien warrior, 1 human. Another voice, sharper. Target was listed as lost in action. Status, paralyzed. Identity match, Kale of Unit Zara. The leader stepped forward. Kale stared at them. Mason stepped in front of him. Don't get too close, Mason warned. The aliens paused. They looked at the human, small, dirty, wounded, but standing, protecting one of their own. Step aside, the lead alien said. You are not authorized to touch our warrior. He's not just your warrior anymore, Mason replied. He saved my life. I saved his. You weren't here. The alien soldiers raised their weapons, not to shoot, but to show power. This is not your concern, the leader said coldly. Step back or be removed. Kale's hand twitched. Slowly he reached toward Mason's arm. Not to stop him. To support him. To stand. Not fully, but a little. The aliens watched, confused. He moves? One whispered, but the report said, Kale forced his voice to work. It came out like broken metal, dry, weak, but clear. I was left behind. The alien soldiers turned, shocked. I was left behind, Kale said again, louder now. Not forgotten, not lost, abandoned. The leader hesitated. We thought you were beyond saving. The extraction orders, you followed orders? Kale said, eyes sharp now. Not honor. He looked at Mason. This human showed honor. Mason blinked in surprise. Kale was speaking again, and this time he spoke with weight. The leader lowered his weapon. His voice was softer. Then what would you have us do? Kale answered simply, you rescue both of us. A long silence followed. Wind. Blue. The hunter ship hissed quietly, still smoking. Finally, one alien soldier stepped back, then another. The leader gave a short nod. Agreed. He said. Two med drones flew down and scanned both Kale and Mason. Mason looked around, still tense. So, that's it? You're not going to lock me up? Question me? The alien leader paused. That depends? On what? On whether your story is true. Kale looked at Mason again. Then I'll tell it, Kale said. I will speak. For the human, the alien leader nodded. Very well. Then you both come with us. Mason helped Kale stand more fully. The alien's legs were weak, but his will was strong. Together, step by step, they walked up the ramp. Two enemies. Now brothers. As the ship lifted into the sky, Mason looked down one last time. At the battlefield below. At the broken ships. At the blood and dust. That place had almost been his grave. Instead, it became the start of something new. But not everyone was happy. Far across space, another signal was sent. From the hunter ship, a quiet ping. To someone watching, someone worse. And now, they knew that a human and an alien had survived. Together. The choice. The ship flew through the stars. Inside, silence filled the medical chamber. Kale sat on a support chair, his body slowly healing. Wires and alien medicine worked around him, fixing muscles, repairing nerves. His legs moved again, not well, not fast, but enough. Across the room, Mason leaned against the wall. His wounds were bandaged, his clothes were clean. But his eyes still carried dust from the battlefield. They hadn't spoken much since the rescue. There were things to say. But the right moment hadn't come. Until now. A voice came through the speaker. Sergeant Mason, report to command deck. Mason stood up, looked at Kale, and gave a small nod. Kale spoke, his voice stronger now. Be careful. Mason smiled. You too, partner. He walked through the silent halls of the alien ship. Soldiers watched him pass, not with hate, but with confusion. Some saw him as a threat. Others as a mystery, one human who didn't run, who didn't leave a warrior behind. At the command deck, 3 alien commanders stood around a hologram. Kale's unit symbol floated above it. The middle commander turned. You fought beside one of ours. I did, Mason replied. You broke our law. I did what was right. The commander narrowed his eyes. You saved him, and you taught him. Mason tilted his head. Taught him what? That all humans are enemies. A pause, then another voice spoke, deep, familiar. Kale entered the deck, walking slow but steady. His armor was gone. He wore a simple dark robe. His eyes were clear. He showed me more than that, Kale said. He showed me that honor still. Lives, even among those we once called monsters. Mason stayed quiet. This was Kale's moment. Kale stepped forward. I request full protection for this human, not as a guest, not as a prisoner. He looked at the commanders. But as my equal. Shock moved across the room like lightning. One commander whispered, impossible. Another said, you ask us to honor a human as one of our own? Kale nodded, yes. Silence followed, then the lead commander spoke. There is another way. He tapped a screen. A new image appeared. Another ship. Human design, military colors. Earth forces. They want him back. The commander said, the humans have tracked our signal. They're waiting nearby. They want the soldier returned. Mason stepped forward. And if I go back? They'll question you. Use your story. Maybe twist it. Maybe deny it ever happened. Kale looked at him. You have 2 paths now? Mason smiled softly. Let me guess, I stay with you, or go home, the commander nodded. You choose. But you cannot have both. Mason looked at the stars outside the window. So many battles. So many dead. But here he was. Alive. Because one alien decided not to give up. He turned toward Kale. You saved me, Mason said. Then I saved you. That makes us even. Kale shook his head. No, that makes us family, Mason chuckled. You know, I hated your kind when the war started. I hated yours, Kale replied. They both smiled. Then Mason faced the commanders. My choice is clear, he said. But I'm not staying for protection. Then why? I'm staying because one of your own showed me what a real soldier looks like. I want to walk beside him, not behind." Kale stepped forward and placed his hand on Mason's shoulder. The lead commander gave a slow, respectful nod. "So be it." A new symbol appeared on the screen, two marks joined together. One human. One alien. Side by side. The war was not over, but something had changed. One small choice. One soldier who stayed behind. One warrior who chose to believe. And from that, a new future began.